On today's episode 7 of We Say Soccer, September 13th, 2021, the boys are back after a great weekend of sports, which saw the NFL kick off their regular season, as well as some great matches around the EPL in Match Week 4. We'll review and react to those Match Week 4 matchups, as well as get you prepared for some Champions League action on Tuesday and Wednesday. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the intro. It's We Say Soccer.
Down, bow. Jeff ain't made the song yet. Hey, 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 hey. Oh yeah.
What's goody, footy fans, and welcome to another episode of We Say Soccer, an American take on the world's game. Today, episode 7, we're coming back to you after match week 4 in the EPL. A big weekend. We saw a big Saturday slate, a game on Sunday, and then a game on Monday. Bunch of goals, bunch of great goals, speaking of those. But first, as always, let's get to my boys. Jibs, how are you, man?
I'm doing great. What a weekend for footy action. What a Monday for footy action. La Liga was exciting today. Everton with a great comeback. More on that later. It was just awesome, though. That's exactly what we wanted it to be. And that's with me leaving out the best part of the weekend.
We'll get to that later, though. Jeff, how you, man? I know it's the first weekend of football. We're all hyped for that, for American football. What do you think about that match week 4 action we got to watch? Other than Peacock not wanting to show us any other games in the first half, thanks to NBC. But other than that, how was it?
It was pretty good, and you called it. Peacock was having some technical difficulties, so it was kind of hard to watch most of the matches. On Peacock, but we saw some action. We saw some sport. We saw some upsets, some shockers there. But it comes with the territory of those ups and downs of the season, the roller coaster. That's what we're here for, to ride. So good action across the pond and right here in the backyard. So it was a weekend chock full of sports. Great stuff.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. Speaking of awesome, Jibs, your run in La Liga this weekend was almost the awesomest.
Almost.
Is that a word?
Perfection.
That's close. Awesomest?
Yeah, almost perfect.
Okay.
It was most awesome.
Awesome.
It was
most awesome.
Most definitely awesomer than previous weeks. 7-1-1, and even the one tie was one that I called out, tie no bet. So that was cool. It didn't win money, so it still goes down as a tie. The only bummer was Getafe could not get past Elche, unfortunately. And they controlled that game through 60 minutes. And then they allowed a 2-on-1, somehow got an amazing clearance on a run back by one of the defenders. And then literally 47 seconds later, 0.33, repeated, of course. These jerks allow another 2-on-1, allow the goal, and they press a little bit. Then they allowed a shot off the crossbar, just never got back into it. But I did have $1 on that parlay, actually, and if that had held out, would have been like $193 off a buck. I would throw $1 on all those picks from a league. And then everything else for me around Europe, I know I had a couple more games than you did, but La Liga, I was 4-3. Bundesliga, I think it was 4-3. As far as record, the big thing there was that over that we both were talking about with
I went 1-1
a goal. So that was a 2-unit play for me on that one. So that paid out dividends. So it was nice.
Did you take Mr. Holland to get the goal in that one too, or did you just have the over on that one?
I didn't. I was straight over on that because, like we talked about
Yeah.
on the pre-pod that or previous pod, that was easy money to me. I mean, I
And
think
if you saw
that hit at half. It was 3-2 at half, I think.
yeah,
So
and if
or it
you
was
saw
2-2.
too, that was pretty sick when Holland scored that goal and Bellingham jumped on his back and caught a beer mid like carry, yeah, and drank
Yeah.
and even said it. He posted on Twitter
His
too. It's like,
Twitter.
well, not a bad time to first try beer. So that
Did
was
you
pretty
see his
funny
follow-up
too.
tweet to that? He said, by the way, didn't
Disgusting.
like.
Yeah. Disgusting. I hit 2 when with Atletico, so that one was a good money. 2-1 on that one. Real Madrid, as we thought, dominated. Moving into League One, Lille again let us down. 2-1 to Laurent. It just wasn't a good showing. Like
No.
Lille, you're done. You're dead to me, bro.
Yeah,
like
we need to get up with Gump a little bit more somehow. Like now that he's not on one of the networks not to be named, as far as posting picks, just I don't know. I feel like he doesn't go as in depth on Fridays, and we rely on him.
Well, he did even say it too. He actually said on today's show, I watched it, that he said that was his fault. He didn't post them out because he did say it on the show, but it was part of the last hour of Pat McAfee's radio show. That's why he didn't post it on Twitter. He just forgot. He did mention that. So shout out to Gump.
Yeah,
I'll cover you on this one. He did mention that
because Pat does like asking him about. He calls him like the footy god or something,
exactly.
the Canadian footy god. So we'll just have to make sure we find his because we rely on him for Bundesliga. Big time,
a lot,
big time.
And we both also hit on something we brought up. We said get the Neapolitan ice cream out. Napoli 2, Juve 1. We did say, hey, the Ronaldo effect is in effect.
It's real.
Like, it's going to happen. Yeah. They say Ronaldo who? Well, you guys still need him. So
I hope Dybala doesn't sign that extension like they're talking about. You know, I don't know where Juve is going, but at the same time, I don't want to see him. I don't think we could have him at United now, and I don't want to see him at another EPL team. So it's one of those things like if Atletico wants to pass like Barca for the second team in La Liga, I know they just got Grizzy back. I'd like to see him go there maybe, but unfortunately, I think it's either Juve or bust. So I don't know. Maybe we do want him to stay there, but you feel bad for him because he's that youth talent that you hope's not wasted in Serie A.
Exactly. Speaking of wasted talent, we can go to League One and PSG. They are just the goblet run fulleth over there. Messi couldn't come through for you on that the GOAT first goal scorer parlay. So I guess that shows right there who's the GOAT. I think Ronaldo's got the first goal scorer.
It was basically like I just took Ronaldo to score first. So that paid out at plus 200. So tripled the original investment. Would have been nice if Messi drew into that match, but there's chances this week with Champs League, so maybe we'll have some fun.
100%. Our boy Ana Herrera did score a brace in that one in the 20th minute in the 31st minute.
Yep. Check the
Mbappe
socials for Champs League picks, by the way.
Yeah, we're gonna go later in the show. That is a good foreshadowing, Jibs. We are going to talk about Champions League a little bit, what to expect, because we are seeing our first round of Champions League matches Tuesday and Wednesday. There are some big ones going on, so we will touch on those. But first, let's go ahead and get into this EPL action. Match week 4.
Boom, boom.
Started off with a banger that none of us saw coming. Crystal Palace 3, Spurs 0, plus 330. Crystal Palace were the dogs if you did take them. Something we didn't mention pre-show, or I should say last show, Vieira, ex-Arsenal star, maybe we should have saw something in that, him playing against Spurs, that we knew that team would have get up for him. But, hey, hindsight is 2020. They were my only miss on my 17 parlay I had going on that Saturday. It was dead before it even started. Zaha got the penalty kick in the 76th minute. It was a pretty clear-cut pin. Before that, though, Tanganga with a little, both of his pins were, or both of his fouls, he got a double yellow. Not the only double yellow red we saw today from an important player. The first one, he kind of just shoved Wilf Zaha in the open field after Lucas Moura went down. They thought they should have got the ball. or kick the ball out to stop play, and they didn't. So he pushed him there, and then got a late one where he dove into a tackle he probably shouldn't have. Definitely fouled IU, and that setup where Spurs just were on the back foot from there. Lloris missed in a corner, or a cross that almost went in that Reguilon had to save at the line. And then, like I said, Zaha got that penalty kick in the 76th. And then Jibbs, your boy, Edouard,
Yay. Edouard.
your man from FIFA, came in the 84th minute and scored in the 84th minute.
Yeah.
And also got the brace within 8 minutes of that in the 92nd minute. Jibbs, talk about your boy. You've had him on FIFA in your career mode.
I always
He's showing up in the Prim.
Everybody gets bored of their video games. It's not that I get bored of running a franchise with United. It's that I get bored with FIFA. So you got to do something to kind of have some fun, mix it up. I always go Celtic. A little bit of my Scotch heritage. Like, I tend to go Celtic over some of the other teams like Rangers, things like that. And Edouard, I've always appreciated his big bodiness, and he's always been lower rated in FIFA than I think he should be, largely due to being in the Scottish Premiership. But he showed this weekend maybe he's more like a 78 overall, and we can get that last minute ratings adjustment for the FIFA 22, and that way when I hop to Celtic, I can buy him back off Crystal Palace, bring him back home to Celtic in Scotland, and have some fun there.
Yeah, and Jeff, did you see this one happening at all? Like, this one came out of nowhere, really. Like, we all were on Spurs heavy. We were like, yeah, this is a good bet to take them. I think they were at minus 115 or minus 120, something like that. We have been saying they're athletes, but
yeah, I mean, they went down to 9 men. I'm sorry, they were down a man.
Like, yeah, they went to 10.
Like, yeah, it was
58.
58. Okay, so I mean, I remember when I turned to it, I don't think they were getting beat this bad, and I think those goals were late. I mean, yeah, those goals came in late. I mean, that guy came on and was ready, was on a mission. So,
yeah,
I mean, I'm shocked. I was shocked as well.
Yeah,
I mean, it was kind of like jaw drop, and it was like, well, there goes most of the same.
There goes a little unit. Yep.
there goes that one.
Go ahead and, put that with the territory, mark it to, charge it to the game. But yeah, man, it was we saw some sport.
Yeah,
right?
No, it was good. That's
competition, right?
That's why you played the game.
And we've been saying it all season so far, right? You got to win the matches you're supposed to win. Right?
Exactly.
And that's it's going to come down, those few points. And I'm sure if it's like anything like American football, every point matters at this point. And so we'll see what happens. See if they can bounce back and bring it back.
And
definitely 100%.
That match is kind of like why in our episode 0 predictions for the season, why John, you and I weren't high on the Spurs. Like, that is exactly
that's the Spurs I was thinking. Yeah,
Kane aside, that is exactly why we were worried if they would even qualify in the top 5. Now, some of the other teams that we thought would push them haven't come through yet, but that's the exhibit A of what we thought this could be. And who are they? Are they week 1 versus City, or are they this week versus Crystal Palace? I have no idea, and now I'm so scared to bet on them. Just gonna break out the Who music every single week when we have to talk Spurs.
Yeah.
We could say,
ahead,
I mean, we could try to figure out if this is more about Crystal Palace or if it's more about the Spurs. And I mean, who's to say that if they weren't a man down, those late goals would have came.
Yeah.
I mean, it may be an outlier, but I'm sure you trust your instincts, right, JB or Jibbs, and I know when someone says pump the brakes, you pump them. So hopefully we'll see what they do next week, and hopefully they can bounce back.
Yeah, and it looked like too that man down definitely come into play, especially on that last goal. The Spurs back line was completely out of whack, and Edouard was pretty much wide open net to get that one in there. Let's stay in London with this one and go off of Patrick Vieira for that segue. Arsenal finally come off the schneid. Aubameyang after a post from Pepe in the 66th minute. Like, how else would Arsenal going to score? Is hit the post twice. Well, we'll get to another team later that can't really score, and their goal was just as ugly. So don't worry, perpetual fans. They're in there. Yeah. But Aubameyang, 66th minute against Norwich. We said there might be goals in here. We thought it was going to be a little bit better, but 1-0, Arsenal do what they're supposed to do, like we talked about last match, Jeff. This is a game if Arsenal wants to get back on track. We said if they lost this, Arteta would probably be out. Jeff, do you think this definitely saves Arteta going into the next week?
Oh man, barely by the hair on the chin.
Barely.
Yeah,
Holding it
I mean, because
down.
that's what we're talking about, right? We're talking about they barely beat a team that's at the bottom of the
That was above them in the table.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
mean, what are we talking about? I mean, so that he's dead from that because that's not a resounding victory. I mean, I guess you could take a 1-0 win. Win is a win, yeah, but not when your
Yeah.
job is on the line. You know what I mean? I don't know if you've ever felt pressure before, but a 1-0 win it feels like I don't know, like you push you get a one snooze button alarm before the day of your hanging. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really just you're trying to pause the inevitable. So I mean,
Yeah.
I think he's still on the hot seat, Big John.
So, Jibs, this did move them up to 16th, and next week they do have Burnley, a team that is underneath them, yet to get a win too. Do you think this could be a bounce back next week? Just coming off of this Norwich win, do you think this is maybe a little run that they're going to go on and start going, or they are
I don't know.
away at Turf Moor, so it is a hard place to play
It is
going into next week. And I know we'll go more in depth in that next episode.
Burnley's
But
had their letdowns too, as of late. Late being today, but I don't know. We'll see. If we were talking about this game, could have been 0-0. I really think the next Arsenal Burnley could be a 0-0 snooze fest. We had a couple of matches that we had on the pre-show where we were like, this might be a catch the highlights, not even worried about between the three of us, any of us tuning in.
yeah,
That
even
could
though we
be
couldn't,
the case
thanks
on
Peacock.
this one. Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
But that could easily be the case for this
No,
match.
100%. So
I'm not gonna watch a minute of it unless
No.
I really don't think I will.
no,
Won't
not
go
at
out
all.
of my way to, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no way. And that one too, what we were talking about with Arsenal, it seems like they got to get to it. We'll see what they can do. But that one will definitely, that Arsenal Burnley next week will not be in our We Say Soccer Pick'em table. I will promise you that, because we will all pick 0-0 draws. And again, because apparently London likes alphabetically in the front of the line teams, we are going to stay in London again, this time going west, though, to Brentford. And their first loss of the season was a heartbreaker in the 90th minute. I thought I was getting a draw. Speaking of the We Say Soccer table, Jibs, you called this one right. Your darlings, Brentford, Hove Albion, or Brighton Hove Albion. I said Brentford. Brighton Hove Albion.
Yeah, okay.
Came through. The Seagulls. Ah!
What kits?
Yeah, those mint kits. Woo! We're getting a little deep in the season, so we're not going to do kits of the year or kits of the week anymore, but we are going to talk about kits when they are dope.
That was
and
fresh.
These were dope. Yes.
I like those. That's now 2 out of the 3 kits I like for them. The striped classic vertical stripe blue and whites, and then these fresh. And then I think their away kits are the yellows. Brighton, they look good every weekend. What up though? Yeah, they held on. It was a great goal. I think it was Troussard who scored that one. Made
it was 90th minute, a curler.
Yeah, made a good individual play, a curler. Not my goal of the week. Close, was in contention. There was a couple others, including another curler in another match that I really enjoyed. But putting a far post out of reach of the keeper's fingertips, sneaking it in there, a little bit off the bar too. I think it would have went in either way, but kissed the bar to for sure get in, and just great individual play by him after, it was a fight to keep that possession, I think, off a set piece for them, and looked good. He converted, and that was what it was about. And now, Brian, you did me proud this weekend.
Yeah, Jeff, and that's something. Your bees, like we said, first loss of the season. We won't say your bees as in there, but they're in the running. They're in the running. We'll get more to that soon.
They're definitely one of my favorites.
They're definitely a darling for sure.
Yeah.
So, but you think they're still going to be looking good? They do got Wolves next week away at Molineux. But do you think they played good for those 90 minutes? This definitely was a back and forth match. There was definitely a lot of chances on net. And Mbumo had a couple chances that he missed that looked like they were nice chances. Ivan Toney tried to hit one from about 40 yards out that looked pretty decent. Yeah, and then Brighton on the same end, at the same token, I should say, Brighton had some chances too. So, Jeff, do you think this was just, hey, that Troussard had a nice little individual moment of brilliance right there, and do you think this is just going to be smooth sailing later for Brentford, or how you feeling?
Well, I mean, somebody had to lose, right? Somebody had to win. Somebody had to score a goal, or not that either, right? So, something was going to happen. There was just too many shots going on goal from both teams, and probability was going to kick in. They're both they're not wanting for offensive talent. They're all capable of putting the ball in the net, right? So it was going to happen sooner or later.
The dam was bound to break.
Yes, and I believe I called this as did I call this one? No,
you said Brentford. You had Brentford. I had draw. I was right. I was so close.
I was taking Brentford to win by 1. I knew we were going to have goals on both sides, but man, I think this was just. Somebody's ball went in the net first, and it was, and it is what it was. Great match. I think Brentford, they're at home. They gave up one at home, but this was one of those 50-50 matches I could have seen going anyway. Mm-hmm. But if you like we said before, if you want to compete in the FPL, you got to win. You got to win the matches you got to win, or you're supposed to win, and you got to get some of those 50-50 matches as well.
Yeah, you got to steal points where you can.
Yeah, and you want to be competing. So shout out to Troussard. It was a fantastic goal. But I think Brentford does bounce back, and you know where they're going. They're going to
the Wolf's Den. For life.
I forgot the name of the planet that Atreyu and then went to they're going. They're traveling on a never-ending story, and we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
I do think both teams showed that they're not relegation fodder.
100%.
They can deliver even in a 0-0 game for 90 minutes. That wasn't a bore to watch.
And it wasn't a sloppy match. It wasn't like there was guys just giving the ball.
It was gritty. It was gritty.
Yeah.
It was gritty for sure. Yeah.
And I'll tune into that every day of the week, especially when we hit January, February. I'll sign up for that every weekend.
Yeah. Especially if Brighton keeps dropping dope kits like that too.
Yeah. 100%. Another match that was back and forth. We saw the ball go in the net multiple times, but only one of them counted. That's Leicester at home against Man City, losing 1-0. Bernardo Silva in the 62nd minute got a little goal mouth scramble, punched it in. We saw first of the Portuguese we were talking about today. They got one of the goals in the day that was filled with Portuguese goal scorers. Did any of you guys get a chance to see that Jamie Vardy offsides? For me, I know he was offsides, but that's one of those VARs like a knee is not an advantage. And he did in my fantasy keeper Ederson. So I mean, hey, I appreciate keeping a clean sheet, even though I got the L again.
And I got Vardy.
Yeah, but it was one of those where when people ask me like, hey, what do you feel about VAR? Like a guy that I work with that says, hey, this is what I want to ask you about soccer. What do you feel about VAR? And I said, hey, if it does what it's supposed to do, I'm with it. If it doesn't clog up the game too much, I'm with it. It's more so I feel like the rules are what's wrong, not VAR in itself. VAR is doing what it's supposed to do. Yeah. I wish if there's not a clear advantage, tie goes to the runner. Offense shouldn't be offsides if it's a knee, a shoulder, a nose, a forehead, like a tooth if it's Luis Suarez.
That might just give them too much room.
Too much. You're right. You're right.
You're right. It'd be like, okay, so it'd be too much.
Too much gray area.
Yeah, probably.
I know why they do it, but
there's not a lot already, right?
You almost wish because they're on the run that they would distinguish between upper body and lower body. Like if you're offsides because you're kind of cheating and leaning, elbows off, shoulders off, right head is off, everything's off. When you're running, you're right. A knee is a tough call to make, and I get it, but it's almost one of those things where he's not off with that knee because he's out necessarily in front of the defender. That's his next step to make a play on that pass.
I feel like if they're equal step,
offsides is when the ball is delivered. So that's where it is tough in this instance for me. But if he was leaning hard, cheating hard with the upper body, that's when I do actually understand it more, funny enough.
Yeah.
So the rule now is that you have to be completely.
It's anything that can score. So your shoulders, your head, any part of your legs, your shoulders, your head, your arms don't matter. So if I run like Freakazoid I wouldn't be offsides unless my arms or head or my feet or head were
Okay.
offsides.
And I was gonna
Shout
say
out to the Freakazoid reference,
anything
whoever
that
got
yeah,
that.
anything. So it's the throwback to Animaniacs was
Bam, 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 bam.
um,
So Vardy did put in a net. Bernardo Silva did get it. This was, like we said, a back and forth match. There were chances for either side. It could have gone either way. This is definitely probably, other than the opening match of the season, that City did look the weakest they have looked all year, and Leicester did look good, bouncing back from some of their earlier lower performances that they lost us a little bit of
they
money
look
on.
tired after internationals, and we
No,
alluded to
100%.
that. We alluded to that big time. So,
Yeah, these big time clubs that didn't have.
Vardy didn't even draw into England's roster for this past qualifying, so he was fresh, and
Yeah.
City wasn't. That's how this felt.
Yeah, because City, like we said, they have almost 20 players that go out on international duty, it seems like. Now, speaking of City, let's stay in Manchester. Isn't that coincidental that this is episode 7 and we just happen to saw the greatest modern era number 7 at United and probably the world just put on a show. Whew. See, man, Jibs, our boy with a brace. United 4, Newcastle 1. Man, no goals in the first half. Let me set the scene real quick before I go to you, Jibs. Let's set the scene. We're all sitting there. Peacock is having a laugh. So we only get to watch the 2 games that are on TV. So we watch in Southampton, West Ham. Nothing's happened. A yellow card for a grab down, some little grab ass here and there on Antonio. We'll get to that next. But we get to see United playing on USA. We're watching no goals, no tweets going out. We're talking, all right, we're going to get some. Come on. Then CR7 sets it off. A nice goal poacher. Ronaldo only has a tap-in merchant. Well, it doesn't matter.
He's the
It's
only
in the
one
net.
who'd be there.
Exactly. Mason Greenwood comes off from the right side, knocks it in. Keeper spills it like Kevin does in The Office. Shout out Dunder Mifflin on the shirt. It's like the keeper, Kevin Chili's the ball. Straight to Ronaldo's feet.
Right to
pounces
like a magnet.
Pounces like a panther.
Yeah.
Right on the ball. And then, of course, the Selly we all wanted. A C. Oof. It was so good. Jibs. This was the theater of dreams at its masterclass.
I have more thoughts.
And it wasn't even.
Yeah.
Oh.
I have more thoughts on this match overall. So I actually kind of want to do something fun here because hopefully a lot of our listeners, a lot of our friends that listen to the show, they're getting into this game. Well, it just so happens one of our tripod on this show is just getting into this game. So first, Jeff, I know you've heard the hype. You've always known about Cristiano Ronaldo, but he built his career starting at Manchester. It was the first 3 feet of bricks in that 10-foot brick wall. How did you feel seeing like kind of everything John and I have always talked about before we even started this podcast on the big screen? I want to get your thoughts first, actually, on this match.
Well, I mean, I've seen Ronaldo play before. The World Cup. I've seen him score goals. I know who this man is.
Yep.
I can't fathom how he is that talented and looks the way he looks. It's like Goku playing, soccer, playing, on the pitch. So I mean, it was just a matter. I felt like it was a matter of time, and it was. You could kind of cut the tension with a.
He was inevitable.
Yeah, like it was going to happen one way or the other. You know what I mean? And like you said, he's the goalkeeper. I mean, just.
It's my favorite. It's my family's recipe.
It's my baby. Take my baby.
He probably told Ronaldo, "Hey, I'll get you one. You just let me get that kit at the end of the game." He knew the kit spot. Hey, I'll let you get one.
I'll give you that.
Like curveball, don't swing.
Don't swing.
Fastball, swing, Mr. Jordan.
Yeah.
That's how I feel like the goalie might have did.
It definitely had those vibes. I hope the most casual watcher realized how big those moments were. And the first one was cool. It kind of was the tap in merchant goal that you always hear about, but he had to put himself in that spot. He made that cut. And a couple of behind the scenes tidbits. It came out today with some of the info coming out, like a couple plays before that, he missed a similar opportunity, and Ole like shouted to him, not in a bad way, just he's across the pitch, shouted at him to make that run in no matter what. And he made sure Pogba got to Ronaldo and talked to him before a set play. And that ended up resulting in this goal, which was magnificent, that they are already on that level of comfort that they are able to do that. Ronaldo didn't come back hand in hat begging to join us. He didn't have to join United again. He wanted to for his legacy. He wanted to for his club's legacy, and a little bit as a nod to Sir Alex Ferguson. And he really showed out by listening to his teammates. He came in honorable, humble, ready, hungry. He's hungry to win this.
He hungry.
And actually Champions League. And hopefully his pockets ain't empty because he just put 2 in the account already. The second goal, world class.
Let's talk about. I was going to say first. I know we're going to dump oodles and oodles of good vibes on United, but let's talk about that goal that we gave up though for Newcastle was not good vibes. That was terrible. Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw completely out of position. He was playing right wing back. And then Harry Maguire dove in. He is the stopper, so that is one of his jobs that Ollie wants him to do is be the stopper, have Varane to cover. But he put Varane on an island where he had to cover 2 guys, one being Allen.
Too high up.
Allen, yeah. And Harry was probably 10 to 15 yards in their box, even though that's where we were playing most of the matches. We dominated this match. Yeah. But you saw even what's ironic, too, is I think it was Arlo White, maybe Lee Dixon, one of the commentators earlier in the match said, "Oh, you believe Manquillo is in the game because of his defensive prowess. That's why he's here." And I was like, "Oh, of course, this is the fucking guy that scores when he hasn't scored a single goal." Yeah, he hasn't scored a single goal for Newcastle, I think, in like 84 appearances. And then, of course, United. Like, if you play for Newcastle and you haven't scored yet, just be ready to play United. You're going to get one. Like Matty Longstaff or whoever that. He looked like the next Alan Shearer when he played against us, but instead in the midfield.
Yeah.
But yes, that was in the 56th. 6 minutes later, Jibbs, you alluded to it earlier. That man again, it looked like a FIFA-esque goal. We all saw it. We were sitting there just like, Luke, drive a little bit, have the defender come, and then just triangle. Just triangle that ball, through ball. He's there. Left foot, nutmegs the keeper again. Hey, don't swing. Don't swing. Let me get that jersey. Yeah. So that second goal. Go ahead, Jibbs. Go on what you were talking about earlier.
No, actually, that was a perfect interjection there because you brought up Luke Shaw, a couple of rough plays. I've not thought Luke Shaw has played well since Europa's, and we were really relying on that to push United to the top of this league. And I thought he struggled big time in the first half. He was wandering. Matic was getting more out on the left wing than he was. Mm-hmm. And then he was standing still. It was driving me nuts when we had the ball, the way he was standing still and then even on the play that we allowed that goal, you said Maguire was pressing. I think some of that's alleviated Maguire's 20 more yards back if Shaw was doing his job down the left. He needed that play on Ronaldo's second goal more than Ronaldo needed it. More than pretty much everybody besides the Stretford end, which got that C celebration. And Shaw needed that a lot, and he made the play. And after that, he was running down guys. He was dispossessing the opposition.
But definitely, it seemed like he came alive.
Yeah, and he got some confidence, which, just because our backline still needs time to gel, Aaron Wan-Bissaka's had some injuries in the past. We just got Varane. I want to throw those. I know we'll get to it. I want to throw that back four again tomorrow in Champions League. Let's keep meshing because we see what the forwards are going to do. Get them the ball, make some plays. Let's do it.
And that was definitely tight. That was definitely the answer that Cristiano, as you saw, he said in his post match, he came here to play. This isn't a vacation for him. Mm-hmm. That was only 6 minutes later. And then 18 minutes after that, we haven't talked again. We're not going to say our goals of the week, but this one is the default number one. And we're going to talk about other goals as they happen. This is, hey, what's your favorite Chappelle Show skit? You don't talk about the Charlie Murphy ones because everyone knows those are the top. So let's go from that. The Bruno Fernandes, Magnifico, chef's kiss. Jeff, what a goal. What a goal.
Well, I mean, Bruno was like, "Hold on a second, like,
Not so fast, my friends.
I play here too. I am also on the team, and I mean, wow.
Yeah.
Uh, you just kind of you dumbfounded at the talent that man. I mean, if you guys weren't strong already, man, and it was and to answer your question just before earlier, it was great. I was happy to see you guys so excited, man. It's kind. I was trying to figure out like what is comparable to, and it probably would be like Jordan coming back to the Bulls. And then you're like, and then he's in the game and he hits a game winner, and you're just like, just flushed with emotion, and it was great. It was great to be in the group chat with it. I mean, I know you guys care about your football, so it was great to see you guys be excited about it.
I'll
It was
say one thing on
fantastic.
that goal too for you, Jeff,
Yeah,
because a couple weeks ago we had the debate on free kicks or PKs, Bruno or Cristiano. That goal from where it was taken is why I think Bruno is getting the free kicks and Ronaldo will get the PKs.
and you said that, and Ronaldo missed the PK that
And then
same game.
Yeah.
he missed one for Portugal. Yeah.
Yeah, he missed the PK.
But
That's right. Yeah,
I
it,
genuinely believe right outside the box, Bruno is
yeah. I
taking that
mean,
free kick and penalty kicks
And the
from the
defense
dot
just
is
what was the defense doing? They were playing prevent on like second down. Like they
prevent,
just
man.
started backing up, and I was like, oh,
And
okay,
that
that's
ball
not
comes
fucking
out
Bruno.
hot.
yeah.
Like, I mean,
Yeah,
you think that thing ain't moving? I mean, it's coming fast.
yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no
And then
way you
we
can't
already
do
saw
that.
the goalie was we already said the goalie's Kevin in net, so like that didn't
Yeah.
work out for him. Like,
There's no
He made
way.
a nice dive to get on the camera, but he wasn't
yeah,
close to the ball.
Dude, that's
it'll
it,
look good
man.
on the poster that's hanging on the
Yeah.
kids' walls in
That
Yeah.
Portugal.
goes in 9.9.3, repeating, of course,
Yeah.
10 times.
Yeah. And then
And then finishing it off, I was gonna say Jay Lings, our boy, I got a signature on this one. That was just a beautiful build-up play. Pogba got it, poked it to Vanderbeek, back to Pogba. He hits a quick spin move on him just in
Yeah.
case he wants to pass back.
Yeah.
Marshall with the dummy, the run through. Then Jay Lings not only does he receive it, does the fake out on the defender, and then curls it in the net. And you see it, just the elation everybody sees. And of course, I wish FanDuel would have took the bet out. If Jesse Lingard scores, will there be a dreams in a tweet with a picture of him as a kid and Ronaldo, and then
Yeah.
him now and
And there
Ronaldo?
was.
I would have took that. I would have put my house on it.
Yeah.
Like I'd have
Yeah.
put every single ounce of my bankroll on that
Yeah.
bet. Like,
So
but I'm proud of him. Great goal, Jibs.
we
What you
talked
got?
about this. I mean, we didn't think Matic was starting. That was
No.
maybe it wasn't since McTominay is not healthy and Fred's shit was up in the air.
Was that wishy-washy shit? Yeah.
But we definitely said we wouldn't be surprised if Jay Lings started or got into this match before DVB, because after all the Van de Beek transfer stuff that died down, that got quiet. There's European competition ahead, so of course we're gonna probably start DVB tomorrow. But I said, and you agreed last week, Lingard is getting in this match because of all that contract negotiation stuff that came out, where he doesn't necessarily want to sign that extension yet. He wants to feel this out so far. Of course, he gets in the match ahead of DVB, and then of course, he's a goal scorer. Just kind of continuing a run of play that he kind of had with England recently, where he's looked competitive, looked athletic. We know he's got talent. He did it all last year when we loaned him out. So it was good to see him step right in and not look cold at all.
Yeah, we alluded to it a little bit in that tweet with him. He's grown up as a United, like since a baby. He's been in a United kit.
Ronaldo trained him at a camp. That's what that one photo was Ronaldo
exactly
running
with
through,
the string being hair. With Ronaldo with the string being
with
hair.
the
At
7
18.
unders with that Lingard was on.
Yeah.
And you know what I saw in that goal, man. Pogba's so smooth.
There.
Oh, 7 assists.
Jesus.
Oh,
I mean,
4
like,
games, 7 assists.
You know, like that whole time he was playing with the ball, like right at the edge of the penalty box. Like it was kind of just like, where is it? There's my bitch. There's my bitch. And then it was just like this weird, just kind of like, and he's looking this way, and he kicks it like.
It looked like he danced. Ooh.
Oh,
He
it's so pretty.
he's
Like
got
you don't know what
Mahomes
you're looking at.
vision
Oh
the
man,
on the
it's
soccer
but
pitch,
he's doing it
like
with
the
his
look away.
feet,
Yeah.
with his
And speaking of
toes.
Pogba, Ornstein, I believe David Ornstein came out and said too that the bringing back of Ronaldo, bringing in his countryman Varane,
Mhm.
and in the recruitment of Sancho is showing him that United is in that trajectory of going up and is now legitimate title contender. So that is something that maybe
Hands
Pogba,
down.
Raiola, and with the new additions adding more almost to that wage budget too. Because of that wage bill, Ronaldo's getting paid a lot, Varane's getting paid a lot. It's not just David De Gea getting that tons of money. So maybe
Mhm.
Pogba can fit in there. And Bruno Fernandes as well is on that contract extension talk. Fabrizio Romano tweeted something about that we retweeted today. And that's priority number 1A and 1B is Bruno and Pogba. And you see
Mhm.
their connection on the pitch too. Bruno, when he
From day
scored, he
one. Yeah.
slid, did his celebration. Pogba, there's a picture United tweeted. Pogba copies his celebration as he's going. Same thing. Jay Lings does his Jay Lings, and then Pogba does the same thing right back to him. Like so, he
Mhm.
sees like, hey, this is his friends. They're growing together, and they want to win together, and they all have that hunger and passion. I think bringing Ronaldo in might be that almost a Tom Brady to the Buccaneers. Shout out to the Glazers for owning both, but almost that Tom Brady. Hey, you got to be perfect if you're coming to training. Like this is Cristiano's here now. Like he's not going to deal with that shit. Like Lee Grant, I think, said something that usually on Fridays there's like custards and pies and stuff
Yeah,
at the
the
training ground.
desserts.
And yeah, and he said usually we'll cut up, eat some of that, chill. Nope. Cristiano didn't have none on his plate. None of us had any of that on his plate.
Yeah,
And,
Like, and that's just
Ollie's
something to
comment
show him.
about that was funny too.
and you know what, guys?
Yeah.
Everybody likes to win. So
Yeah.
if people are winning, they got the best chance to win. People will take less money. They don't need any more money. I mean, it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
not. I know Cristiano doesn't really need any money. So,
Well,
I
and
mean,
that's the biggest
people
thing.
like to
It's
win.
not
I
so much.
mean, that's what TB does, right? Tom Brady takes
Yeah.
Yeah.
less money, and everybody around him takes on that same mentality because it's team over championships over the
Team
money. You
over
don't need any
self.
money anymore. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. And
And
especially for that's go ahead, Jeff.
it's not so much just the quick clarification of that is he never was completely eliminating us. I think his agent Mina Raiola would have. It's now it might happen before January. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
before January was the sticking stone, and behind the scenes, almost like legal tampering in American sports, we would have started working out a way to get compensated if he was going to leave on a free in paper, because we don't want that to happen with Paul Pogba again, because
People
that's
are
bad
Again, yeah.
business.
motivated. People are motivated at every level for Man U
Facts.
right now.
Facts.
Everybody is motivated.
Give me
nobody
give me all that.
wants to be the person that's like, oh, we let Pogba go, we fucked it up.
Yeah.
It's comparable to Aaron Rodgers, right? They're like, well, we didn't know. Like nobody wants
Yeah.
to be that guy.
Let
Yeah.
Hendo get healthy and motivate DDG on top of it, and we're fucking golden.
Yeah. Let's go. And we do have West Ham next week. And that it's a great segue because our next match was the NBCSN one. So for you guys that were trying to watch on Peacock, the other matches that didn't go through, you were watching this one. It is Southampton 0, West Ham 0 at St. Mary's down there on the South Coast. The biggest thing from this match, there were definitely chances. Southampton hit the post in the 80th minute. But first, there was a first yellow card where Mikel Antonio threw, definitely was a yellow. Could have slightly maybe a red, but definitely was a yellow. He threw the guy down. Probably shouldn't have. Okay, that's the first yellow, so we'll get that. Will come into play later. But then the Southampton had a shot off the post on a break in the 80th minute. I forget the guy's name, to be honest with you, but he had a break, hit the left post. One of those low shots if you're a FIFA player, an R1, L1 style shot. And then Rice had to clear one off the line in the 93rd minute. That was very close as well. But Rice, hopefully future United player, cleared one off the line. Good job there, Declan. But minutes before that, Mikel Antonio had the ball in the offensive end of the pitch, lost the ball, went to the Southampton player, and he slid in. Honestly, just recklessly. It looked like he was going up, looked like a greater than sign going through the air. Like you can't have your foot that high, especially when you're on a yellow. It was 100% of strikers tackles. So for the United fans out there, that is a great news because he will miss the game against United. So that's a big step for us. But this one was kind of a bore fest. Like we said, there was a couple chances back and forth. But it was a 0-0. So, anybody have anything on this one? I think this one's one of those ones that we said where, yes, we could watch it. We thought it was going to be a West Ham win.
Disappointed, definitely disappointed at West Ham.
Yeah, this was.
It cost me
This was
100.
one of. Yeah, and I was going to say this was one of our We Say Soccer table picks, I believe, as well. Yeah, and Jeff actually got this one spot on, so shout out to him. He went 2-2 this week, and he had to draw. Me and Jibs were both on West Ham, but as we said, they didn't come through for us.
I'm mad at myself on this one because I threw in, the Spurs. I woke up Saturday morning, had my parlay in. Spurs was already going on before they even were down. I was like, no, what? This already started. Let me throw another one in just Saturday only. And I no bet the Brighton match. Still got Brighton over Brentford. And for some reason, I didn't no bet this one. I took West Ham at plus 130. And that cost me. That would have paid me $113 if they had come through with a winner. Now, granted, I got that late Wolves goal to keep that alive as well because I didn't no bet that. But just that's my side on this match. I never want to hear from this September 11th, 2021 West Ham Southampton game ever again.
Yeah, and this one I actually I did draw no bet this one in my 7-game parlay, but like I said, Spurs got me. Yeah, so this one was my only draw essentially, but I did call the draw no bet like we talked about earlier. But you mentioned them earlier, the old perpetual Wolves. Oh, I so badly wish they didn't score that last goal so we could just talk about how even when they win the game, they can't even finish. And man, the one they got that was actually their own goal.
You tweeted with the quickness, or you text us with the quickness on it.
Yeah, I was like, oh, son of a bitch. I was so ready to mention this on the pod. Yeah. But as we said, man, the Wolves, even against Watford, I did go against the grain on this one. I was the only one. I chose, I either chose Watford or draw. Either way, I lost it. So go back to the episode and listen to that if you haven't. Shouts out to that. Thank you for all the listens out there, by the way. But both of the boys were on the Wolf Pack, like we call them, the perpetual Wolves. There was an own goal by Sarah Walta in the 74th minute from Walford, and then Hee Chen Wang, the new
brand new
just
First
came in.
minutes.
He was the one in the Louis Vuitton in the stands a couple games ago that you saw. And as we talk, Wolves do have Brentford next week, so we'll see. That should be a good match, and they are back at home. And Watford is against Norwich, so maybe that could be the bounce back game for Watford. We did see Watford look really good in those first couple early weeks. Took away Everton, I believe, right? Didn't they take Everton to the depth, and then Everton came back to win on that one, I believe. If I'm wrong, hey, I'm sorry.
Was
it's
that
a little late?
One?
It was 1 or 2, I believe.
Yeah. I don't know. Norwich got to win eventually.
Brighton won 2-0.
I don't know, man. They don't got to. Like Jeff said, somebody's got to win. Nah, they can be a draw too, dude.
For the sake of this pod, they have Josh Sargent. If they start Sargent, they're gonna win this weekend.
Hey, you know what we should do? We should put $1 every Norwich game just to take the plus money, and we probably would come up on positive just from one win.
What we should do is double that and do a Josh Sargent goal and a win, and get paid. Because I'm sorry, Norwich, you're not winning without Josh Sargent scoring. And we're not fans of his in the U.S. after his last performance in the recent qualifiers. But hey, here's how.
And then after that, another team not getting off the goal sheet, I should say. Villa lost 3-0 in London to Chelsea. Big Rom trying to keep up Cristiano, ahead of Cristiano technically, but keep pace, I should say. He is trying. This is a golden boot race, and I'm mad. FanDuel, let me take it. Cristiano just got in the league. You didn't. Cristiano wasn't offered when the golden boot was up. I want it. Let me get it. I'm gonna take Cristiano against Romelu, even though realistically, I think
I want you.
Yeah, just let me bet it. Like, come on, let me bet it. But even though I think realistically,
Greenwood.
No, yeah, you're right. Realistically, I think Lukaku will play more matches in the Prem, just because they don't really have the rotation that we do. I think Ronaldo will maybe play some of those Champions League matches he'll play in. if it's a bigger match, and then we'll probably have Cavani, Greenwood, Marshall, something like that going to Prim. If it is a smaller Prim team, we're going against that week. And remember, he is 36. Rom is, I believe, 28, maybe 27. So he is a little more fit. So realistically, I think Rom did put away the 2 today. Kovacic also put one away. Rom's was in the 15th, and then they got a late one in the 93rd. And Kovacic, off after a terrible air from Mings, pretty much gave him a through ball. And Kovacic put it home in the 49th minute, right after halftime. This one's exactly what we thought. Well, we did say coming in, we do like Villa preseason, we do like them a lot, but not last episode in this game. We did definitely think this was going to be a Chelsea shellacking. They showed reset. Yeah. I mean, they showed that they're a good team, and Villa, come on.
I'm tired of waiting.
Come on now.
I mean, we thought I know I said that I would take Chelsea in my parlays and things like that, and I would look at draw no bet Villa situations like that because it was like plus 900 or something crazy we talked about. And man, I thought after all the Chelsea players on the international break, this was their chance to come out and show who they could be, even if they lost, but not a 3-0 ass kicking. Like they got work. Yeah. They got
and they had some chances. I think they hit the post. McGinn was looking pretty decent out there.
But I think
go ahead, Jeff.
I think Tuchel's fine giving up those chances that they did. Like as scary as they look to us as spectators, there's got to be a method to the madness for a manager. Well, that was sick.
Sick alliteration, bro.
Yeah, that just he's comfortable giving that up. Would he be comfortable giving that up to City or United? Probably not. Birdman Junior.
Shout out Little Bird and Mindy in goal. Mindy did show out. He had a couple sick double saves. I know one of our first followers, Will, was following us on Twitter. Yeah, Will, our friend Will on Twitter, one of our first followers, shout out to him because he was interacting with us during that game. And that's the best thing to do. We do say all the time, Twitter is where we are most active. It's all 3 of us on that account. We're always live tweeting. We're always sending out bets, things like that, stuff to look out for, latest news and transfer rumors, stuff like that. So again, just interact with us on there. And that's where you're going to find us. Shout out to Will's because, hey, there you go. First shout out goes to you, Will. But that ended our Saturday matches. Does anybody else have anything to conclude on Saturday? Or are we ready to move to the L versus L matchup?
I will say non-United division. I will say one thing. Rom's first goal and Mendy's save when he basically got tackled and kicked in the face. Candidates for goal of the week and save of the week. I like them.
Yeah, no. I like that curler he had too that went into the top bins, that late one too. Yeah. All right, we had Liverpool 3, Leeds United 0 at Ellen Road. Mo money. Mo Salah, 20 minutes in, got his. It was a quick pass, maybe offsides. But yeah. But assist from Trent Alexander-Arnold fizzed it into the box. Mo tapped it in. And then a little bit after that, hand down, Mane was down. This man looked like prime Fernando Torres out here missing empty nets. I know the one was a little bit behind him, that first one, where he put it, if you're in row Z, seats 7 through 10, please return the ball to the concession stand for your free Coca-Cola. He was putting out souvenirs in that first half. But he did come through later in the 92nd minute, got his goal. And Fabinho put one in as well in the 50th. That was a scrappy one. So Jeff, your boys. No, you're good, dude. Your boys.
Was that somebody at a bowling alley?
Yeah, no, that's the when you hit a home run at the Little League Baseball, and they're like, please return the ball for a free slushie. Yeah, Mane hit it to the row Z, bro. He hit it. He almost hit that thing. Yeah, he hit it, man.
Shout out you.
He put that thing.
He said he got 10,000 tickets.
You can go get your Chinese finger trap, Mane. You got it, bud. You want your tickets.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I was
But
sweating ears. Woo!
but Liverpool though they are who we thought they were.
Yeah.
Leeds did have their chances. Ailing had one that was a volley that he might have maybe should have took a touch on, but he definitely tried to like Karate Kid Daniels on it
It
I,
was
and hit
I
a volley
needed
with
that
it.
versus Jeff this week in fantasy.
Hey,
Yeah.
it was tight until that last. Luckily, I had Luka. I mean, luckily I had Salah and I had
Yeah.
Smiskas. How you say his name? Smiskas, right? The
Oh yeah.
defender. So
Tzatziki sauce. Yeah.
yeah.
I love that shit, man. That's just good on a Euro.
Yeah, I had him too. So yeah, but it was close until up until that last match. Well, that
Yeah.
last match on Friday.
Shout out
Sorry,
to
Saturday.
T's and P's out to Harvey Elliott,
Yes.
the young kid. There was a red card in this match for Leeds. It was definitely a red. He came in from behind. It wasn't there was no malintent.
It wasn't
It wasn't anything like
malicious.
that. Yeah, no, it's the
It was careless. Yeah.
yeah, it's Harvey Elliott's
Careless
leg
is
that
the
was
way to put it.
planted, got stuck in the ground. His studs were firmly in the ground. The guy kind of went through on the tackle from behind, clipped
Ankle.
that trailing leg. Yeah, an ankle just pretty much. It was either an ankle or right above it, like that tibia, fibia, shin area.
Yeah.
But
Ankle or
if you
high
see it,
ankle.
yeah, they showed it once and then they didn't
No.
show it again. Thankfully, if you do
Yeah,
watch that.
yeah.
The Premier League on Peacock, that little highlight package that's like the 17-minute package. They do show it once, but Rebecca Lowe does show that warning if that is something that's going to do
Did you see
hurt you.
the story from the hospital on that?
Mm-mm.
So he went to the hospital and literally a kid from the area had an ankle injury in his youth football match that morning and was in the bed next to him. And he's a huge Liverpool fan. So he
Oh, that's
actually
kind of cool. At
signed the
least, yeah.
kid and gave him the boots and said, "Get better with me." So respect
Oh,
to
that's
that.
sick.
It was a pretty
Yeah,
cool
shout
story.
out
Cool
Harvey Elliott.
photos. Yeah.
Yeah, get well
Wow, that
soon. We
was
are
awesome.
United fans, but that's something we never want to see. We've seen it with like Luke Shaw and stuff like that. But Luke Shaw is a good example that you can bounce back. Luke Shaw is, even though he hasn't been playing up to snuff as we've been saying, but he's one of the best left backs in the world
And
right
he's back
now,
out there. Yeah.
and he's back exactly.
Mhm.
So
Shout out
T's
to
and P's
Liverpool.
out.
Hey, win the games, win the matches you're supposed to win. This is what they're
Exactly.
supposed to win. They're still up there, still competing.
And we were, like we said, we shouted out in episode 6. We did say Mo Salah to score, Liverpool to win was something to look for. Unfortunately, the over 2.5 did hit. Thanks to Mane finally got one.
Thank you, FanDuel.
Shout out to Senegal.
Yeah. And then but some of those other ones, Leeds didn't really show up like we thought they were. We thought it was going to be maybe a 3-2, 3-1 kind of Liverpool match. And then speaking of 3-1, that takes us into Monday, today's game on day of recording. It's honestly a really, really good match. Definitely back and forth. We saw Jib shouted this out on Twitter. Ben Mee in his 200th appearance got a goal, 53rd minute, started things off for Burnley at Goodison Park. And then Michael Keane in the 60th minute came through with a nice little header. Thank you to my fantasy team, even though we got the L, but it's all good. And then another contender for goal of the week on this one. Oh, and Andros Townsend with the assist on that Michael Keane to go with this goal that we were talking about in the 65th minute, because this was a bundle of baskets in the 60th minute. There was 60, 65th, and 66, but this curler from Townsend. Whew, yeah, take a bow, sir. Yeah, that one was definitely up there. If it wasn't for Bruno, I think this one would have been our unanimous goal of the week. It definitely came at a good time for Everton, getting that momentum in Goodison Park. We saw the Toffees and the Toffee fans get behind them. And then Damari Gray, who we said has been hot, so it's maybe something to look at for fantasy.
3 and 4
since he's come back. Yeah,
or
he has
3
been
and 3
doing work.
because he didn't play week 1, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, close. 3 and 3.5. We'll say to sit in the middle.
At worst, yeah.
But Jibs, go ahead. You did kind of allude to this goal earlier. What do you think about that goal and the game overall today? Because it was a fun one to watch.
And it wasn't even. This is weird because I didn't think it had those specific moments, because it was the first half was kind of like a filling out process. This was
100%.
Everton deciding how they would break it down. They kind of did this week 1 as well, where they take their time. They're patient. Definitely a Rafa team. And maybe that's what will keep them from being top 5, top 6, is they always take their time and feel out and don't jump on it and get ahead. They need to be on the front foot more, in my opinion. But they really executed their game plan coming out of the break. And maybe that's where Rafa is the man at. I know we hate on him overall just because of the underperformances that he's had in the past managing clubs, but they seem to come out with a purpose besides allowing that early goal, because I think that goal for Burnley came from them almost trying too hard. They got caught almost on like a sweeper play, in my opinion, where they were able to advance the ball quickly and got kind of broken down, almost a la United, and where they got caught in a bad spot, and you really just can't ask any one player to step up and make that play to not allow it. But then the flurry of goals, head was spinning. It was 3 goals, 6.5 minutes, just bang, 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 that quickly, that easily. They showed how they can perform. You want to see that in the first half. But besides that, they looked great. That was a match, I think, not so much last year, but the year before, the 2 or 3 years before, they lose that hands down.
Yeah.
And that's when Everton was uber disappointing. They do not win that game prior to these last 2 years. Last year they did well, and then with Rafa this year, just they lose that game. And it's refreshing to see them seeing what they could become with a little bit of potential shown in the second half.
Yeah, no, and they definitely we couldn't even get the tweets out, it seemed like, in time. We're tweeting about one and the other goal's going in.
You tweeted about the 3 goals, and then I was shouting out Ben Mee.
Yeah, like, come on, man. Slow down. This is a neighborhood. Jeff, they do have Aston Villa next week. That is the 12:30 matchup on Saturday. That's Everton is rolling with Rafa. They are in the top 4 now. Do you think this continues against Aston Villa? Or do you think Aston Villa is going to get a little bounce back with these new pieces maybe finally coming together as they get to host Everton in this one, and then one coming up? And so, what do you think?
I think Everton keeps rolling strong, man. I think they know who they are, and they have a process that is putting them in the best position to be successful. Like, they're not playing anybody else's game. They're playing their game, and it seems to be working so far. And so I think they continue to win the games that they're supposed to win, and they continue on past Aston Villa next week.
Yeah, cool.
Aston Villa doesn't go down without a fight. I'll say this: I don't think they go down without a fight, but I'll say the predictions for our second show of the week.
Exactly. Stole the words out of my mouth. Yeah, I was going to say stay until next week for that. But something you don't have to wait till next episode for is where we stand with your journey, Jeff. It is Jeff's journey. So it is what we normally do on this first part of the week. After we get another match weekend in the EPL, we see where you're at. Not necessarily do you have to name names. You just have to who was feeling, who caught your eye, what you're thinking, who's dropping, who's popping, and what's next. So what do you think on Jeff's journey?
Let's see here. Brentford was one of my early darlings in this journey. They're still holding true. I think they break even on my chart on this week. They competed. They just didn't go out there and get their asses whooped. You know what I mean? They
fought for 89 minutes.
Yeah, and especially for them to be there. This is their first season
loss.
Loss. Yeah. I mean, they immediately jumped to the middle of the pack, and I think they're still one of my favorites. Liverpool has moved up a spot. I like Liverpool. I like the way Liverpool plays. I like their coach. I like their style. Like I can see Liverpool.
You got old Davos Seaworth.
Yeah, I like the onion.
He said his contract's done when it's up in 3 years, including this season.
Hey! Listen, people say a lot of things. 3 years before. People say a lot of things. What if they're winning? What if they're primed to win? Aaron Rodgers said he showed up the camp. He showed up the camp.
Okay, so Jeff, you said Brentford.
Brentford went up.
And then you said Liverpool went up a spot. but
Liverpool
that
went up a
means
spot.
they were in third and they're in second. So
No, not up a
who?
spot. They got a
Oh,
point.
oh, okay.
They got
Up,
a
up.
point. Not up a spot, but they moved up a point. They moved up a point.
I got you. I got
Yeah.
you.
I'm not going to tell you where they're ranked at. I'm just going to say that they either moved up a point or they dropped down a point,
I got you.
or if they broke
I
even.
got you. I got
That
you.
way,
Okay. I
that way
thought I
I can
wanted to
hold
make sure
some.
you
I can
weren't giving
I
to
can
us
hold some.
in
Yeah,
order.
yeah. I can still hold some. Control over how this
Yeah.
process is going out. Wofford was also one of my favorite teams. Took a step back. We'll see how they go. I did like the personality for a little bit, but it is what it is. Man U has moved up a spot. The addition of Ronaldo is just, man, it's too much. It's kind of like, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I picked a very good season to start watching.
You
No,
did.
you definitely did.
FPL. I feel like I am part of this magic. I feel like I'm sprinkling a little
Thank you, Jeff. If it
little
wasn't for you,
bald
it might
Jeff,
not have happened.
hair dust on you, a little beard dust on you, and things are coming around. Um, and I like watching Paul Pogba play soccer. I mean football. I really do.
Yeah.
I mean, if I didn't need another reason to watch, Man U, outside of Ronaldo, it's just they're just fun to watch. Who doesn't want to watch goals in that way? They're very
Yeah.
capable.
Wait till you get your first pog boom from like 30
Oh,
yards. I can't wait.
and you haven't even got Rashford on the pitch yet. You
No.
haven't got Cavani on the
Yeah,
pitch yet.
there's more, and there's
Yeah.
more. Yeah, there's
King
more to
of
come.
Uruguay.
So, Tottenham down a spot. Or the Spurs are down.
Mm-hmm.
The Spurs are down a spot as
Yep.
well. So,
I think that's in all of our. I think that's a stock down for all of us. Honestly,
I
going
do
from
have a
that. So
different
thank
one.
you, Jeff.
And
Oh well,
that
that
was
is
fine.
that is
That's fine.
that's yeah. No, I think that's good enough. That's a good little insight by all means. I think like we said a semi. Hey, maybe around Christmas we'll start nailing it down. Start watching some teams and we go from there. But by all means, I just want to get how you were feeling. Like I said, that's why I wanted to quantify are you saying they're up to second now and they're on third or not? So I'm
Yeah,
glad.
I didn't say
Yeah.
any numbers, but I mean, you can tell. I mean, I try to, I have a higher end team I'm looking at, a middle of the pack team I'm looking at, and then I have a lower tier team I'm looking at as well, and I'm trying to relate to a little bit of everybody to see who I wouldn't mind cheering for if we're watching one of those, what do you call it,
Relegation.
Relegation.
match, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
100%.
yeah. But I also want to have a team that or somebody I can like to cheer for later down in the winter. So
Well, if you pick a favorite team and they get relegated next season to the championship division, John and I will pick a championship division and we'll touch on that on next year's pod as well.
okay,
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Don't pick Norwich because that's an automatic more work next pod.
They're gonna go down to tier 3.
Yeah. They're getting the double relegation. It's like rock and jock.
It's still going, but yeah, we're super excited, man. It's fun to figure it
Let's
out.
get it.
Awesome. So, Jib, going off of that, what teams do you think? What players are you thinking about? Jeff, you can jump in. I know we didn't talk too much about players. So, Jeff, if you have players that we're talking about too, what do you think? Stock up, stock down. Something we bring in time to time on these
So
first of the week shows.
I 2 stock ups, 2 stock downs. Spurs, easy. Already mentioned it. We'll see what they become.
Yeah, same.
But at the
That's one
same
of mine.
time, it's I think it's stock back to wait and see, like we talked about on episode 0.
And they do have Chelsea next week. We didn't mention that earlier, so sorry to cut you off there, Jips, but I did want to mention that.
Yep.
That they do have Chelsea next week. So that's the Sunday late game. That's the 11:30 game.
Okay,
So that
Spurs.
will be it's time to prove it now, Spurs. You got those 3 wins early. You lost to Crystal Palace. Maybe that was the Vieira effect. So now let's see it. And
That was
Chelsea.
your wake-up call.
And Chelsea, are you for real? Let's see it. I know Spurs have beat City before, and that was kind of their but I think that was almost a surprise. City usually starts slow as it was anyway. But as it still was a shock. What else you got there, Jibs?
And then my stock down after Aston Villa in past weeks is now West Ham, unfortunately. I got to call it like I see it, and this is the week to have them stock down. I do not think they had any business drawing 0-0, 0-0 with Southampton. My stock up, clearly, this isn't the one that I'm going. I have 2. I am not going with them, but it's United is probably the runaway leader in the clubhouse for me in that one. Because we had a Ronaldo, and he just proved it. So that's an easy stock up.
Adding God.
My main stock up is 2 teams. Wolves, you got over those 3 tough 1-0 losses to good teams. Well done, gents. I don't care how you did it, you did it. My other one, my darlings, Brighton. You played a tough match against a team that everyone has had eyes on with Brighton, or your Brighton Brentford. There was a lot of pressure. You could have easily folded and lost that game. I think they would have in years past. They
Away
stepped
too.
up.
Were they Jibs? They're away too, weren't they?
Yep.
Yeah,
It was
yep.
at
Yeah.
Brentford.
Brentford
Brentford.
won.
Yeah.
Yep. Or Brentford at home. And Brighton, you showed up. You got the job done. I don't care how late it took. It was a great goal. I think I know we said earlier it was kind of more equal chances, I thought, but I thought the quality chances did lean Brighton's way. Maybe that's when we tweet out what the stats actually were, that expected goals that John and I always talk about. John, more so you, but
I do
Brighton
like
looked good.
XG.
I think
Yeah,
they
speaking of
impressed
looking
me.
good, again, those kits look good, feel good, play
Play
good.
good.
Yeah, Dion.
That
John,
could happen. Shout out Coach Prime.
who's your stock up,
Prime.
stock down? John.
I actually have a surprising stock up. It's a team that didn't get the result they wanted today, but I thought they played well. And we talked about it earlier. The ball was in the net, and it was only a matter of inches. The reason they didn't draw this game, if everything would have went how it went. And that's actually Leicester City, man. They had, like we said, a couple of tough matches early. But the way they played today, they did go toe to toe with the champions. Yes, there was that qualifier fatigue that we were talking about from Man City. But I think Leicester did play good. They do have your darlings that you have a stock up in Brighton next week. So we will see. I think that is another one of those who's a contender, who's a pretender coming into that top 8, maybe going for Europa League. If Brighton really wants to jump out of that mid-table, I think they'll show that they can beat a good team like Leicester. And if Leicester really wants to get into that top 6 with Tottenham faltering and having to go against Chelsea, I think this is a time for them to show it and to step up. And again, another team that didn't get the win, but I was very down on them this year, is Southampton. I think their stock up is for me too, because they're just keep getting draws. And as Jeff said earlier, you got to get the points, you got to get them draws, and I mean, you got to have it. So they're getting the draws they need. They're not losing these games. Get the draws, and that's what you got to do if you're in a relegation battle. Just get the points. Steal them if you got to.
Derulo song.
That's an old Martin. That's an old Martin show. Recall. Tommy
But,
had GTD in his diary, and he was at court, and he was like, "What does GTD mean, Tommy?" He was like, "Get the draw."
So yeah, I think Southampton and all those relegation teams, you see Norwich is not GTD, and they're not getting them draws. So they're down there at the bottom. So I think Southampton, even though I know this is a little oddball picks with my stock up, I feel like this weekend, other than that Spurs matchup, did pretty much go how we expected it to go. So fuck you, Spurs, for these parlays that you messed up, because it was a big, heavy favorite weekend.
One job.
Yeah, you had one job, Spurs. So I'll say Southampton. And then again, to piggyback off you, I'm going to kind of double up that claret and blue with the Aston Villa West Ham. Both of them, we expect big things from them. They're not showing up 0-0 against Southampton. And yes, you can get the loss against Chelsea, but don't go down like that. That's just one of those ones that's like backbreaking, and it's going to not set you off for a nice little run that you can go on. It's going to roll you back, especially because you have Everton, like I said, coming up with Rafa coming into town.
It's going to get late in the season for both of them. And that's my fear.
And another team that's on my stock down, that's why I kind of combined them together. So I'm going to go like a combo +1 is Leeds. Like we said, we thought Leeds coming in, even though they got blown out by us in that week 1, we thought, hey, this is a team that's dynamic. They're going to play their game. They're going to do like what Norwich does, where they don't care about how the other team plays. They're going to keep playing their game 90 minutes. Bamford did get a shot from deep that did challenge Allison today.
That was.
But other than that Ailing chance that we talked about, there wasn't really that much. And it just seems like they're not as dynamic as they were last year. They're not as free-flowing scoring-wise. And it could just be match week 4. They're kind of getting settled into Bielsa's offense again. But a lot of their players are coming back. So these are players that should know the system. So Leeds for me is a slight stock down, maybe something to say, hey, let's chill maybe on these overs. maybe for them to give up these overs because they are giving up goals, but they're not contributing. They're not almost like the Titans in the NFL where they're going to hit overs because they score a lot and they give up a lot. But they're not doing like that. And that's what the Titans are also looking like this year, where they're giving up a lot, but not scoring a lot. So that's why Leeds is going to be one of my stock downs for the week.
And I know we hate them. I worry that they're going to get rid of those guys. Bamford and A-Link, just sell them off. Go to highest bidder. I could see Bamford,
especially with Bamford getting some international.
I could see him going top 6, A-Link going to another country, and like France or Spain. And I want my rivals to be in top flight with us, like, because make those games meaningful. I think
exactly
helps the game. I think there's a lot of Leeds fans in America that will care for that. I'd hate to see this season go wayward and then they start cutting. And so I don't want them to turn around. I like that they stink, but hey, be 14th in the league for me.
Yeah. And some of the players around the league, Jibs, one of Jibs' boys, as we talked on, Edouard had a pretty good week. Shout out Kovacic as well. Had the assist to Rom. That was beautiful. And then the goal himself from that air from Mings. Of course, the GOAT. Shout out to him. Shout out to our boy Jay Lings. Great games again. Him fighting for his spot. Mo Money doing what Mo Money does, getting goals. And again, Mane could have hit the over himself if he wasn't trying to pass out those souvenirs to the kids that can only afford the cheap seats. But not only did we have Premier League this weekend, we got the Champions League. The champions! Bum, 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 bum. Some big matches coming up.
For you doing that.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna have to go pay so many rights and image fees, and sorry, we might have to cut that. So if you got a blank noise, that was just a Jeff beat. Sorry, but we didn't want to pay the rights to UEFA. But we do have starting off. It's going to be Manchester United, our boys in Group F, going against the young boys, ironically, in Switzerland. Jibs, some of the team squad has already been announced. Ronaldo's on the bus. Cavani is not. Van der Beek is there. Ali alluded to it in his press conference. Wait till Tuesday. See if Van der Beek's going to go in. I know young boys are a team we like to bet. Yeah, no, 100%. They are a team we like to bet for, but obviously in this one, we both, I think, are leaning United. Jeff is also, we talked about this pre-show. Jeff's just riding off Premier League. He said it's Premier League season. So he's got a Premier League parlay. Yeah, no, we're doing a Premier League parlay. We'll send it off.
Take those 4, and because of odds, if we want to pay, have some fun with it, we might have to look at some spreads on those, which I hate doing in group stage, and we hate doing first legs of certain in Champs League, or we hate doing second leg. I'm sorry, but it's a good rundown. I mean, I think the Tuesday matches could potentially have more disparity than the Wednesday matches. So,
no, 100%. There's a couple toss-ups in there.
However you want to attack this beast, let me go for it, Big Johnny.
Well, let's do it. Let's do it by time. I think that's going to be the easiest way. Even though there are a shitload of 3:00 matches. To be honest with you, there's only two at. There's only 2 at 12:45.
Well, the Kings have the first drink, so
exactly. King of the castle, the king of the castle. So we have United, like we said, against Young Boys going on at 12:45. That's Group F, and that's going to be on Paramount Plus. So if you got that, this is when that Paramount Plus does come into play. We mentioned it a little bit earlier in a couple episodes that was going to be another service if you did want to get it and legally stream it. That's where you're going to have to get those Champions League from. Also at 12:45, not on. It is on TV. You can also get it on Paramount Plus. Excuse me. Salzburg is away at Sevilla in Spain. Jibs, this is Group G. How you leaning on that one?
Upset.
No.
Playing more.
So we're oppo
football.
On this one.
Playing more valuable football. They've had to claw their way. I think they've already been in some participation. Early preseason tournaments. They don't have a ton of internationals. I am taking Red Bull Salzburg to upset
Plus-
Sevilla.
Plus 400. I already said they lost me money because I apparently shout out the
that's
wrong
fair.
sponsor first. So I'm
Yeah.
going with Sevilla, because we are, again, what we're gonna do. We're gonna put those parlays of all our picks together. If you like them, cool. If you tell us, again, take them straight, pick and choose what you like. Like we said, if you want to follow Jeff, we're gonna be looking at those spreads too once we get to those other matches coming a little bit later, where there are big favorites for the Premier League teams like a Manchester United. Maybe wait till the lineup come up, try to get an anytime goal scorer, first goal scorer with Ronaldo, or Bruno or something like that.
That's my reasoning there. So hopefully by the time this
Heard
pod
that.
comes out, there's no way they would have heard these picks, because I'm sure we'll have this pod out 30 minutes before that match. But if you're on Twitter, if you catch it, don't follow that. That's just because I don't like Sevilla.
And then next, we have Dynamo Kiev against Benfica. Dynamo Kiev is the dogs at plus 220. Benfica at plus 135. Jibs, you going Portugal in this one, or you going Ukraine?
I am going Portugal, and I don't feel good about it, but it's mostly because I think Benfica wins the Portuguese league this year.
I do like that. They are, I believe, top of the table. They are top of the table with 15 points in the Liga NOS. That is in Group E, and we'll stay in Group E. Jeff, this is one you can come in. You do know two of these teams. Barca hosting Bayern Munich. Two big names. Barca is not maybe what they used to be with all these financial woes, losing the GOAT 1B and Griezmann as well as Luis Suarez. Bayern Munich, the perennial champions of Germany. What do you see in this one? You have seen Bayern play before. Lewandowski. They got those fast, speedy Gnabry and Sané on the wings as well. How do you think about this one?
Yeah, got to go with Barcelona. Got to ride that. Got to ride that wave. I think it's too much firepower out there, and I believe they're in Portugal, right? I'm sorry, Spain. Sorry.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just think that there's too much firepower out there in Barcelona, and they just they take over. They take care of Bayern Munich.
So Jeff's going with those plus
they win
240
the
dogs.
To win. Yeah.
Well, they're dogs, so they're not supposed to win this one.
I think that they're the better team.
That's
well,
fair.
Jibs, and you, I was going to say, do you want to drop the hashtag thank you FanDuel, or do you want to wait to let the fans know about that one? We have talked about the first game in this.
I'll let you touch on it, because one thing I will say, if Lewandowski doesn't play this match for any reason, I think I will take Barcelona from jump. Otherwise, I'm going to be live monitoring this, because I think Bayern Munich is the better team. And at minus 105, just because that Barcelona name, Barcelona, is, I think that's bringing that down to almost even money. If Lewandowski's in minus 105, I'm going to lock it in.
And something to look at too for the counter side of that, if Lewandowski is not playing, Jeff, this might be something you want to look at. I am on FanDuel Sportsbook. Draw no bet for Barcelona is plus 160. So again, draw no bet means if they draw, you get your money back, and if they win, you get that at plus 160. So for $10, you're going to win 16. So a total return of $26.
Even then, right?
Yeah. And
double chance is minus 135.
Right?
I'd pay that juice.
Yeah, double chance. So that means if Barcelona win or they draw is minus 135 for that one.
If you like Barca, I like that bet.
Who do you take? Who do you take as an anytime scorer for Barcelona? That's what I would want to know.
Let's look at this.
Barcelona with the win.
Depay is the best odds
Memphis.
at plus 145.
It's got to be
Ex-United
Memphis.
player from Lyon. Yeah, Ansu Fati is their next closest one at plus 220. So yeah, I definitely take Memphis if anybody at plus 145. Something to look at. And let's look at the win cast real quick. Win cast
what's
for
Lewandowski
Memphis
score in a win?
Plus 155 is Lewandowski to score 90 minutes, Bayern Munich to win, and then Memphis Depay to score 90 minutes, Barcelona to win is plus 430. But as I alluded to earlier, there is a boost on this game offered on FanDuel right now that is part of a two-leg parlay. both Man United and Bayern Munich to win in 90 minutes. So you're taking that money line is boosted to plus 210 right now on FanDuel. So that's something that you can look at. It was plus 165. So that's a good bet if you do think Bayern can beat Barcelona and Manchester United does what they're supposed to do and beat young boys.
That's not bad.
Next, no, it's not a bad boost that we've seen, and we appreciate FanDuel throwing out those boosts. Speaking of United, we have Villarreal, who we lost to last Europa League final, going against Atalanta. Yeah, who do you have in this one, Jibs? I hated it, but I did take Villarreal at plus 135 on this one in my big parlay.
All of my being wanted me to treat Villarreal like I did Sevilla and go against them. Because I don't mind Atalanta, but I believe they were in the qualifiers for Champions League. They didn't play well. They did just okay getting into this tourney. I may be confusing them with another team, but I'm pretty sure they had to go through prequels. Unfortunately, I had to take them. They did their thing last year, much to our chagrin, and I am on Villarreal on this. And as a championship, in quotes, because it was your Europa League pedigree team, plus 135, just a little bit too nice from a wagering standpoint not to take.
And that's something that we always say too, that fits one of our little kind of semi systems that we talk about is that home plus money and kind of a toss up match. We do like taking that. Atalanta is currently 10th in the table. They've only gotten 4 points, a win, a draw, and a loss for their first 4 matches, while Villarreal is 13th, getting 3 draws out of their first 3 matches. 3 draws and a loss, out of their first 4.
What's D&D on them then? As the favorite, but plus 135.
Let's see.
Minus 150, I'd lay that.
You said DMB?
Yeah.
Is minus 134, actually. Ooh. For draw no bet. Villarreal and Atalanta is plus 114. Double chance, that's Villarreal and draw is minus 250, so that's something to probably stay away from. Atalanta and draw is minus 180, so probably double chance is something to stay away from in this match, just because you're killing your odds a little bit too much. And then we have a toss-up match in the next one. Is going to be Lille and Wolfsburg. This is in Group G with Sevilla and Salzburg. Fuck Lille. I'm going Salzburg. Or Wolfsburg, excuse me, in this one. Go Volkswagens, not baguettes in this one. Jibs, how you feeling? Lille let me down. We didn't touch on in Europa or in the Euro run around, but they let me down.
To Nantes,
so, what you thinking? It was? Yeah.
No,
Lille was Laurent.
Oh, Laurent, that's right. Yeah. I'm on Wolfsburg too. Easy said.
Yeah, Jeff, plus 155.
I know you've heard us both bitch and moan about both of these teams. Any thoughts here on Lille versus Wolfsburg? A little France versus Germany.
I'm gonna go with the Wolfsburg here on this. Yeah. I'm gonna go that way.
Can't front. Their kits are pretty sick.
And that's Volkswagen's from Wolfsburg, by the way. Like that's why their kits are that way. There's even like the Jetta's Wolfsburg edition is because of that city.
Yeah, little
fun fact because I used to sell Volkswagens.
And then Jeff coming in, we have Chelsea hosting the Russian Zenit at 3 p.m. Again, these are all on Paramount Plus, so I'm not just going to individually say them. That's in Group H. Do we think we're going to see Rom in this game? Do you think Rom's going to play in the Champions League, or do you think you're going to see Werner maybe come through going through the middle?
Neither. I think they both easily, after the matches the other day, could have a match off. I think this could be the Kai Havertz breakout game. This would be the SGP for me would be corners
plus 130 anytime goal scorer for Kai Havertz too.
But then this is also a good game for Hakim Ziyech to have.
That's what I was going to say.
To have a good match as well. If you want to be froggy,
he does have that Champions League pedigree.
No, let's say
for real, coming from Ajax too.
First, both just score. Those two just a score. If that's all you did in a SGP, plus 444 for those two. Let alone
I'll take
the winner, all that. That's a good way to turn $10 into $44.40. I like that. That's what I would lean on this one because obviously
And yeah.
Chelsea's winning this. If they
So
don't,
Jeff,
what the fuck?
this is something that you might want to look at because you are leaning heavy on these EPL teams. If Rom does play, he's minus 165 for a play for him to score and for them to win.
Yeah.
So piggybacking off Jibs, we have Kai Havertz plus 135 if he scores. Chelsea wins. Hakeem Ziyech plus 195 score and win. If they get a penalty, this is something to look at because Jorginho should play because he only came in for that second half, so he should play because he came in for Saul. Is Jorginho score Chelsea to win is plus 220, and that's going to be the best odds given to us on that win cast on FanDuel for those top players that should score, going to score. So do you have any of those players that you're maybe looking at? Maybe that's something to wait for the lineups to drop to see what you're looking at.
I've been learning that too. Wait for the lineups to drop before making any decisions because it's a little different than football. You don't know what the lineups are going to be, which is crazy, or American football. So it's a little confusing. So yeah, I'll probably wait. But if I did like the Georgina one that you were speaking of,
Plus 220.
Yeah, I might look into that. But definitely take on Chelsea with this and that 80-time score and see how that goes. I'm loving that. I'm loving those little sprinkles that James has taught me about. You know, it's a sprinkle here and a sprinkle there. And like you said, a quick way to turn 10 into 40, and you're just playing the numbers. Like, I mean, it's, basic statistics, anything's going to work out. So,
yeah, and the caveat there is if Lukaku and who'd you say, John, don't play.
Timo Werner.
I'm looking at Kai and
Ziyech.
Thank you. My mind just went blank.
I got you, dude.
But because that's their third and fourth gun in command. So that's what you got to do.
And speaking of that, the other game that we are looking at in this group is going to be Malmo, ex-home of God himself, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, in Group H against Juve. They are hosting Juve in Sweden. This is something to look at. Again, yes, throw it into a parlay at the minus 210 for Juve. But if you're looking to make those that juice go away, you can get Alvaro Morata in 90 and Juve to win plus 150, or no face, no case, Paulo Dybala plus 160, plus a Juve win on that win cast. So that's something to look at there because I think we are all thinking that Juve is going to win. Jibs, do you have something else on this match?
This might be one of those situations where if all of my parlays say cost me $15 just having some fun chopping it up on Tuesday, maybe I throw half that on Malmo because we have talked a little bit at length about Juve's doldrums recently. And hell, you never know. You get caught.
It could happen.
So obviously if we hit one of those parlays and more than pays for it, nobody wanted to take Buster Douglas facing Mike Tyson, and this does not even have those odds. So you never know. Malmo's a good Swedish team. It is where Zlatan Ibrahimovic first started out in the world's eye. But hey, why not? This is what Champions League is for.
Exactly. And that takes us to Wednesday. Those are all your Tuesday matches. And again, stay tuned to our Twitter. This pod should be out probably right before those matches start with United and the Sevilla and Salzburg match. So just stay tuned to our Twitter. We're going to have all those drops. Hopefully everything we're telling you today comes true. We make tons of money. You're not going to see us for a little bit because we're going to be out in Vegas spending a lot of it. But we'll see. So let's go ahead, jump into Wednesday. We're going to have some Group A, B, C, and D going on. Starting off with our boys from Germany, the team we've been rolling with. We've already lost any fan named Erling, but he is a future Red Devil. Going against Besiktas. Jeff, I think this is one we're all going to be putting our little money on. Minus 170. I feel like that's pretty good odds. How do you feel? You've seen Dortmund play. Besiktas is a Turkish team. If you did not know that. Excuse me. And then
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, sorry, I had some Mediterranean earlier. Shout out to Turkey and Kava. But they are minus 170 Let's see what our boy Erling Haaland is at minus 115 for a Dortmund win, him to score. And even more of our boy, let's see if they even have that bet as an option. I'm not seeing our boy Gio Metro
Reyna.
in here. It's probably because he still got that little bit of knock. He might not be on here.
I don't think he's fit.
Yeah. But Jibs, what do you think? Do you see an upset maybe coming plus 440 Besiktas? They are at home. Turkish crowds are a little crazy.
The game will be canceled before Besiktas wins this match. I will put that quote out tomorrow before the match and hashtag it. So if it does not happen, you can embarrass me to all get out. Haaland's just too on fire. He's in his bag. Yeah. He's in his bag. He's playing.
He looks like a robot.
He's playing like he wants to move to a bigger club. I'm gonna say it.
Domio Rigato, Mr.
And he's playing like he wants to do it in January. I'm gonna say that now in September.
And he's playing like he wants to play in the top 2 with one of the greatest goal scorers of all time that happens to wear number 7 and wear red and does the celebration that sounds like
You mean his idol when his dad was a professional soccer player? That guy? Yeah. I might take Erling Haaland to score 2. Just for the hell of it.
Ooh.
Just for the hell of it.
Speaking of awesomeness, if you haven't looked at Moldova's FC Sheriff's badge, it is sick. It looks like a sheriff's badge. It looks like Barney Fife made it himself. But it is awesome. The team out of Moldova made it in here through that playoff that JB was talking about earlier against Fred's former team, Pastor Fred, from United, former team 1245 Paramount Plus, Shakhtar Donetsk out of Ukraine, the second Ukrainian team we're talking about. Jibs, how are you leaning? I think we're both leaning the same way because I've never heard of FC Sheriff before, but I feel like if they go down, they're just going to try to act like hope that their son didn't see what they saw and just Carl.
So I will say one thing. I can't remember the full story, so forgive me because you just put me on the spot on that one. But Sheriff, they actually beat a couple of notable teams on the way to qualifying. And I believe it may have been a Serie A team or a Portuguese team. But they
beat Dynamo Zagreb
from Croatia. And their Dynamo City is bigger than we thought. Actually, we group chatted about this.
They beat them and tied with them.
We group chatted about this actually, but we tweeted this out like a month ago too, right when this was all getting started. This is another situation where no matter what I do on Wednesday, I might throw a third of whatever parlay I put in on Sheriff just for the vibes. Because why not? It's a great story so far. And they're not facing a Dynamo so far. They're facing a pretty average European team.
Second in the Ukraine is Shakhtar, and Sheriff is 4th in Moldova League. But like we said, Cinderellas do wear slippers and they can get on there. Yeah,
they can be saving
exactly.
Because that's one ticket to the ball every year in that league.
And the let's go ahead and jump into Group A. This is a dynamic group. Those are all your 12:45 games. Is that Besiktas Dortmund and then FC Sheriff versus Shakhtar. But Group A, potential group of death. Maybe not because of Club Brugge, but Club Brugge versus PSG. This should be a shellacking. PSG is minus 450. This is one of those where if you are feeling a little antsy in the pantsy, maybe put a small quarter of a unit or something like that on Club Brugge. They have gone to Europe for a couple of times, but it's PSG. So if you're doing that, that might be a good time to call 1-800-GAMBLER if you do have a problem and you do think Club Brugge will win. Now, if they come out and win, you're welcome. But if they didn't, call the hotline. Yeah. But I don't think we're really going to touch on this one too much. This is one of those, again. Yep. You want to go get your combos in a win cast. Get the Neymar to score plus PSG to win. Get your Mbappe to score plus PSG to win. Lionel Messi to score is minus 185. Mbappe to score with a PSG win is minus 140. Neymar to score and a PSG win is minus 140. And if you're feeling froggy, let's just see what all of them parlayed together to get a goal is going to be. Only plus 226.
I don't think
So,
Messi plays this match personally.
yeah, I wouldn't see it.
Yeah, they got embarrassed in France League last year in Ligue 1, so I think they're to start this gonna get him up to pace in league, especially when they're playing Club Brugge to start. So
Yeah, I think he'll definitely feature against City later down on in this group stage. But for now, I agree with you.
I got
That I
Neymar.
don't think he'll play.
I'm throwing $5 on Neymar and PSG to win. It probably wins like $3. It's going to be something just dumb like that. Just throw a little nickel in.
Sounds good. Let's move on. Speaking of City, they are taking on RB Leipzig out of Germany. That's 3:00 Wednesday again on Paramount Plus, and that's going to be in Manchester at the ad. City are coming in at minus 360 favorites. Leipzig at plus 1,000. Again, if you're looking at that win cast, you got Gabby Jesus as your top option. That's plus 120. Ferran Torres is plus 135. Sterling at plus 140. Old Jackie, Big Cavs is at plus 220. So that's something to look at. I am going with City. Jibs, Jeff, are you feeling anything different? Jeff, who are you feeling actually maybe something to parlay with that anytime goal scorer? Are you thinking maybe with Pep? This is, again, something to wait for that starting lineup because Pep switches around too much.
Yeah.
I'm actually staying away from it as an anytime goal scorer just because of that and because City's one of those options where it's one of those almost a running back by committee in fantasy American football where you don't know who's going to score. There isn't a Ronaldo. There isn't a Kane. There isn't a Lukaku.
Their rotation is too volatile. So, and I don't like the odds for the Man City win anyway. So
this is something that we're going to say, like we said, throw into a parlay. Maybe take this with that United, with Chelsea, maybe minus 1, and then Liverpool, which we will get to in a minute.
I'll tell you
one
way to buy this down is if you really have to. What I would be looking at is both teams to score would be no. And I would be doing halftime result at minus 150 City's way. And then and that's at basically plus 200 by itself. But then plug in Man City to win the game overall. That doesn't really change it actually at all. So I would just do those two. If you want City at positive money, both teams to score, and Man City money line is plus 113. I do not think RB Leipzig scores this match.
City's defense did show that they were one of the best in the Prem last year, so that's something to look at. But if you are looking to do the Jeff Premier League parlay, if you do take Liverpool straight up against AC Milan money line, that's at minus 210. Again, we'll get to that game, but I did want to touch on this parlay. Man United at minus 270. If you take Chelsea at minus 1, which means they have to win by 2, that's against Zenit, that's minus 165. And Man City to minus 1, which is to win by 2, that's at minus 125. That's going to be plus 484. So $10 pays you 48.48. So not bad. But if you are feeling uber confident, you can also go with the spreads on those other 2 games that we took straight up as well. Or take the non-alternate spreads, which is them to win by 3, which is always a little touch and go because those get a little scary here and there.
Keep the socials there because even that's not
especially on Wednesday.
That's not juicy
that's a little too. The juice isn't worth the squeeze on that one. I feel like
if it was over maybe plus 600 plus 650, I'd do the Prem parlay. I mean, I'll throw $2 on it to get paid back 10 just for the cause, for the podcast vibes, but that's still not even where I thought it would be or where I'd want it.
Yeah. No, and that's actually why I wanted to put it in too and spread it out there because I think we were all in the mindset that was going to be a little bit better, but that isn't there. So moving on to Group B, we have FC Porto taking on Atletico, and then Liverpool against Milan. Jibs, are you feeling any type of way other than the home teams winning on this one? Atletico, one of my darlings in the betting world, and then Liverpool, we see how strong they have been lately. I feel like I'm going to take both of these home teams. They're in my parlay for the whole day, but I'm not going to take them straight up.
For the parlay, yeah, I won't take Atletico straight. Porto is a good squad. But I will throw them in the parlay. And then I will take Liverpool, but I won't bet that straight because AC Milan's a good team.
Cool. And then we did talk about it a little earlier. Group C, Sporting versus Ajax. I'm on Ajax on this one. So I think they're going to come through. Ajax is, let's see, where they at in the table. In the ear of the Desi, they're second on 10 points after 4 games. Jibs, how you feel on this one?
I'm taking Ajax. I'm taking my Bob Marley boys. 3 little birds all
Yeah.
day. That's my team. They're going to be pissed off. They're not allowed to wear those kits because UEFA sucks. And
Well, they said it's the bird. They just got to take the birds off of the X's.
No,
they said it was an added thing that wasn't the
from the
sponsor.
Club. It was bullshit. And I love Ajax. I love Bob Marley. And Ajax is going to trounce Sporting Lisbon because of it. I might even take the spread this match.
Thank you, Sporting, for
thank you for supporting
and
United.
Bruno. Yeah. Thank you, Sporting.
Love you. But I've always loved Ajax. I love the story behind the 3 little birds. And I don't know. I've always loved Bob Marley.
Yeah, no, I'll take it. And then to cap it all off, in that same Group D, where Shakhtar and FC Sheriff, we have Inter Milan hosting Real Madrid. This one is, if you are a casual fan, you might be surprised that Real Madrid is actually the dogs at plus 180. Inter is plus 185. Serie A. Jibs, what you rolling with on this one?
Choo choo. Real Madrid train starts here. I think they're winning Serie A. I know Grizzy went back to Atletico Madrid. I think
La Liga, but yes.
Or I'm sorry. Not Serie A. La Liga, of course. But I do think this starts it. They have the glue. They come together right now and start to win. But I've got Real Madrid from here on out. I think they win La Liga. I think they beat Inter, who I don't disrespect. I know it's going to be a tough match, but they definitely, the Italian teams tend to be more league than total Europa overall anyway. So.
And you can get Real Madrid at draw no bet, still plus money, plus 106 at time of recording. Inter draw no bet is minus 124. And then even not that bad if you want to maybe throw this into the parlay, double chance of Real Madrid and draw is minus 190. So if you're doing a whole Wednesday parlay, that might be something kind of just as a little insurance. But if you're going to go for it, hey, go for it. And that concludes our Champions League talk. But as we've been saying throughout the show, stay tuned to our socials. We will share all of our Champions League picks, what we're feeling, any games that we're watching throughout these next 2 days. We are going to be on that TV. We do have Paramount Plus. So we will get that squared away, and we will keep you up to date if you cannot watch it. But this has been episode 7. It's been a great one. Opening week of NFL football didn't deter us this week. We had a great all-around sporting weekend. The GOAT coming home to Old Trafford. The teams that were supposed to win other than Spurs winning. So making us a little bit of money. Fellas, you got anything? Yeah. I drew no bet, so sorry, team. But boys, you got anything for the fans before we head on out of here?
Viva Ronaldo!
So with that, we appreciate you guys as always. Thank you for listening. We are growing exponentially by the day. So just keep on liking, keep on sharing, keep on downloading, and keep on following us on all those socials. We really do appreciate it. Stay tuned for our Twitter as well. We didn't touch on it on the show. We went a little long with some of our game previews, but stay tuned to our Twitter. We are doing a giveaway for FIFA coming soon. So if you stayed throughout this entire episode to hear this, we appreciate it. And again, stay tuned to Twitter because that is coming soon along with other giveaways in the future. So as always, we're just here to keep you informed, keep you loving the beautiful game, and just keep you making money. So as always, man, it's been We Say Soccer. Peace.
Peace, guys.